What if events had unfolded differently in the MCU timeline? What if Project Insight became a success in Captain America The Winter Solider?
People are gonna die, Buck. I can't let that happen.
Project Insight was originally supported by the World Security Council and the United States Department of Defense. It was a project designed to eliminate any potential threats to the citizens of Earth before they actually happened. It consisted of 3 heavily armed, satellite-linked helicarriers, which would take out their targets before the targets would be aware of it. In the original timeline, Steve Rogers and Natasha Romanoff managed to foil the plans of Hydra by changing the systems of the helicarrier to fire at each other, hence terminating Project Insight. In the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. timeline, Project Insight was successful by the thought by the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents from the future timeline. In this fanfic timeline, we will explore a new timeline where Hydra's long-awaited plan of Project Insight becomes a success.
He's on the wrong path. I could warn him, intervene. But the fate of his universe is not worth risking the safety of all others.
With over 715,854 individuals targeted by Project Insight, Hydra's main commanding office, Alexander Pierce, told Nick Fury that Project Insight would kill around 20 million people in total on Earth. The algorithm of Project Insight was already hacked with Arlim Zola's algorithm. Instead of targeting individuals that are in danger to the world, individuals that were a threat to Hydra was targeted. In this timeline, Steve, Natasha, Falcon, Nick Fury, and Maria Hill failed to stop Project Insight from being successful. Project Insight then became active, and the helicarriers aimed towards all of their targets. Alexander Pierce then gave the command, and the helicarriers started killing all of the individuals who were a threat to them. Tony Stark, who was still recovering from the events of the Mandarin in his home, was shot. Stephen Strange, who has yet to become the Sorcerer Supreme, was also killed. Hank Pym, Steve Rogers, Nick Fury, Maria Hill, Natasha Romanoff, Sam Wilson, Bruce Banner, Clint Barton, who were all key members of the Avengers, disintegrated from the attack. Bruce was not in his Hulk form as he wasn't aware that he was being targeted. In his human form, he was easily killed. Even the President of the United States was also killed. The news then reported a massive number of individuals who were killed on television. The Avengers was destroyed as there were no surviving members except for Thor. A few hours later, Hydra began a military lead by Brock Rumlow, aka Crossbones. Bucky Barnes, who was still brainwashed under Hydra, was given the mantle of Captain America, or better yet, Captain Hydra. He wore a green uniform with a shield and took charge. Soon, the whole of the US government crumbled as anyone who posed a threat soon came under the Project Insight's algorithm and were killed. S.H.I.E.L.D. no longer existed, and the Hydra sleeper agents took control of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s base. Thor was still in Asgard after the events of the Dark Elves, therefore he wasn't aware of what was going on. Baron Strucker continued with the research of the Mind Stone on the Maximoff twins. Hydra was still in possession of the Mind Stone from Loki's scepter. As a result, Wanda and Pedro continued to be loyal members of Hydra along with Crossbones and the Winter Solider. Ultron and Vision were never created as there was no Avengers, or the Ultron Project never came to be. Arlim Zola continued to supervise over Hydra and had a physical body just like the original comics. Hydra soon took over Stark Industries and began to deploy its scientists there. They started equipping their soldiers with Stark tech. Darren Cross, aka Yellow Jacket, worked closely with Hydra to deploy Yellow Jacket suits to the Hydra government. Darren managed to perfect the weaponized suits after Hydra handed him the paperwork of the Ant-Man project by Hank Pym after his death. Hydra continued to rule and terrorize the world with their one-world government. The events of Doctor Strange would then take place while Caecilius attempted to steal the Time Stone from the Ancient One. With Project Insight activated, Hydra reported that the Ancient One and Caecilius were a threat too. The helicarriers then shot both down, killing them. Pierce then dispatched Wanda and Pedro to get a hold of the Time Stone as another artifact to their collection, in addition to the Mind Stone. As Wanda and Pedro arrived, they saw the Ancient One and Caecilius with his other minions already dead too. They were about to retrieve the Time Stone before they were being halted. A man came out of the shadows and said that the Time Stone needs to be in the custody of the Sorcerer, someone who is known in the mystic arts. He said that he is Baron Mordo and that he would be willing to work with Hydra to eradicate the over-existing number of sorcerers on Earth, but he cannot hand it over, the Time Stone, as the Time Stone falling in the wrong hands could activate Dormammu, a powerful being that would consume the whole of Earth. Pierce decided to allow Baron Mordo to wield the Time Stone in exchange for loyalty to Hydra. Meanwhile, King T'Chaka remains the king of Wakanda, as he was not assassinated in the bombing in Vienna due to the absence of the Civil War storyline. Oki and Shuri told T'Chaka and T'Challa of the emergency of Hydra and its tyranny around the world. They said that they cannot reveal Wakanda to the world, as they have been isolating themselves for over 2,000 years. 2 years have passed since Hydra's invasion of the world. Thor returned to Earth and he was shocked to see what had happened, but he decided to keep a low profile as he didn't want to escalate the situation. Thor did some research and came across the Sanctum Sanctorum, as he also wanted to know where his father Odin was. He decided to seek help from there. Baron Mordo introduced himself to Thor as the Sorcerer Supreme. Mordo also alerted Hydra that the God of Thunder has arrived on Earth. Mordo said that Odin is somewhere on Earth and he would only help him if Thor were to pledge his allegiance to Hydra. He said that Hydra is the new protectors of Earth. Thor remembered Steve Rogers telling him how Hydra was evil and how they were involved with the Tesseract. Thor then attacked Baron Mordo, but Mordo managed to trap him in the mirror dimension. After releasing him from the mirror dimension, Wanda put hallucinations inside Thor's mind, and Hydra arrested Thor. They figured that since he is a god, he would be better to have him on their side instead of killing him. Meanwhile, in Wakanda, Killmonger has obtained the secret entrance to Wakanda from Claw. After killing Claw, Killmonger went to meet with King T'Chaka. Just like in the original Black Panther timeline, he challenged for the right to the throne, but the current leader of Wakanda was not T'Challa, but his father, T'Chaka. Before he challenged, he told Wakanda to reveal themselves to the world. While Hydra is ruling the world, Wakanda could rise and share their tech with Hydra. T'Chaka disagreed and said that Hydra would then betray Wakanda. Killmonger decided not to challenge for the throne yet. He left Wakanda and decided to inform Hydra about Wakanda instead. At first, Pierce was doubtful about Killmonger since he was just an assassin, but then Killmonger told them about the vibranium technology, which was originally used for Captain America's shield. He said that in exchange for the vibranium technology and control over Wakanda, he wants to be the new ruler of Wakanda. Pierce felt that it was a fair deal and told the Hydra army to focus on Wakanda. As Wakanda was out of scope, the Project Insight were not able to target them yet. They would have to manually wage a war against them first to gain visibility of Wakanda. Hydra eventually waged a war against Wakanda to obtain their vibranium resources. Led by the Winter Soldier and Crossbones, Hydra's soldiers are already equipped with yellow jacket suits. Wanda and Pedro were also deployed. Thor, meanwhile, was still held in captive, and Odin was still on Earth. Odin warned Thor of Ragnarok in his dreams, but Thor was still powerless to do anything. The Guardians of the Galaxy would still be the same and unaffected by the events on Earth. Loki was still ruling over Asgard, disguised as Odin. As Thor and Loki never met, they weren't aware of the impending doom of Ragnarok. Odin soon died and went to Valhalla. While Wakanda and Hydra were at war, Hela was freed from her prison, and she then went to Asgard while being confronted by thousands of Asgardian soldiers and the Warriors 3. Hela knew that Odin was dead, and she told them that the other Asgardians that Odin was already dead and that she was proof of Odin's death. She then killed several Asgardian guards with ease who wanted to arrest her. She then threw her necro swords to Loki and removed his disguise. Everyone was shocked to see that it was Loki all this time. Hela then told the others that she wants to continue the conquest of the 9 realms, and that they should begin with Midgard. She said that as Loki's elder sister, she would not want to slaughter him unless he poses a threat to her. Loki and the Warriors 3 and the other Asgardians decided to submit to Hela. Loki said that his brother Thor was still on Earth imprisoned. Hela said that she would want to have a reunion with Thor as well so that they can continue Odin's legacy. She told the Asgardians to prepare, as Asgard survived and there was no Ragnarok due to Hela being the ruler of Asgard. Thanos was not able to hijack the Asgardian spaceship as in the original timeline. Nevertheless, Thanos decimated Xandar and obtained the Power Stone with one Infinity Stone at hand. He decided to shift his targets to the Soul and Reality Stone first. Back on Earth, Wakanda was already being bombarded continuously by Hydra helicarriers. They were on the brink of breaching the defenses when suddenly a portal opened in the sky. Both Wakandans and Hydra were shocked to see what was going on. They heard a declaration from a woman who proclaimed herself as the new queen of Asgard and said that she has come to rule Midgard. The conquest of the 9 realms have begun. Hela then brought forth her troops from the Bifrost Bridge. Pierce then instructed the helicarriers to shoot at the Asgardians for now. The Asgardians were decimated at first from the high-powered cannons from the helicarriers. As Hela and the rest were unable to pinpoint the exact location of the helicarriers, Loki said that their best bet would be to use the Tesseract to immediately teleport to Hydra's base. Hela agreed, and while the helicarriers were targeting the Asgardians, Wakandan's barrier was almost on the verge of destruction. Loki and the Warriors 3 teleported themselves with the Space Stone to the Hydra base where the main command center of the helicarriers were located. They killed the Hydra agents who were guarding it. They also found Thor, who was still brainwashed by Wanda's hallucinations. Thor was still not in a good shape for combat. Hela personally came and destroyed the helicarriers with her necroswords. Pierce was also killed. With Project Insight out of action and the helicarriers destroyed, Hydra lost their key air support. This allowed the Asgardians to decimate the Wakandans and Hydra. T'Chaka handed the mantle of Black Panther to T'Challa as he felt that he was more suitable for it. It was a 3-way battle royal between the Asgardians, Wakanda, and Hydra. When Hela arrived, the tables turned to the Asgardians. She easily killed the Winter Soldier and Crossbones. He used his super speed to try and assassinate Hela, but was overpowered and was killed instantly. An enraged Wanda used her telekinesis and created a powerful shockwave that killed half of the Asgardians and Wakanda army. Hela was impressed with Wanda's strength, but Hela eventually managed to overpower her. Even Black Panther was subdued. Soon, Hela managed to defeat both Wakanda and Hydra. Hydra's one-world government started to crumble. Meanwhile, the Mad Titan has already obtained the Reality Stone after killing the Grand Master. He trekked the Guardians to nowhere, where he took Gamora away. Thanos then sacrificed Gamora for the Soul Stone, and just like that, Thanos already had 3 stones in hand, and 2 stones belonged to Earth, and the other stones was still on Earth. Thor recovered from the hallucinations and was against Hela's conquest of Midgard, but was powerless to do anything. Hela said that either she would imprison him or he would serve her in the other conquest. Wanda was imprisoned at her Asgard and her powers were restrained in a special room. Hela was unaware of Thanos' plans as they eventually conquered the world. Loki managed to obtain his scepter back together with the Mind Stone, 2 stones in the hands of Asgard. Baron Mordo, meanwhile, knew that Thanos was coming. He felt that as the universe is going to end, the Guardians of the Galaxy did not know of Thanos' possible location, as in the original timeline they were informed by Thor. Thanos decided to launch a full assault on Earth to obtain the Time, Mind, and Space Stone as Hela and the Asgardians were residing there. He had the power Soul and Reality Stone, unlike the original timeline where he dispatched the Black Order to perform his work. Thanos decided to go to Earth. Soon, hundreds of ring donut spaceships entered the Earth's atmosphere. The Warriors 3 alerted Hela about this. Hela said that perhaps she has finally found a worthy opponent to defeat. Thanos arrived and demanded for the Infinity Stones. Hela said that they posed no value to her, but she feels that Thanos would be a threat to her nevertheless. The Asgardian enraged in a full battle against Thanos' legion, compared of the Outriders, Chitauri, and the Black Order. Amidst the heated battle, Hela used her Necroswords and battled against Thanos, who was empowered with 3 stones. At first, Hela was a little underwhelmed on her strength as she was fighting against Thanos, who had 3 stones. Realizing that she used the Space Stone from the Tesseract and teleported herself and Thanos to Asgard. As her strength grows more in Asgard, and with the Space Stone, she is empowered even more. Thanos and Hela were battling to and from Earth and on Asgard. Baron Mordo then realized that regardless of whether Thanos or Hela is victorious, the world will be destroyed. He then decided to do the unexpected. Dormammu decided to read the mantra that would unleash Dormammu himself, as Dormammu was never imprisoned due to Doctor Strange not existence in this timeline. Dormammu came from the Dark Dimension. Dormammu then consumed Baron Mordo along with the Time Stone, and the Dark Dimension soon started to engulf Earth. Thanos and Hela were still battling with each other when they soon realized that something strange was happening. The Dark Dimension soon engulfed all of them, including the entire Earth. The Guardians were still looking for Gamora and Thanos when they realized that something weird was heading their way. It was a huge black dimension that started engulfing anything that came in their way. It was then the Guardians realized that the end of the universe is imminent, and that is going to be the sad but dark story of what if Project Insight became a success in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. If you guys did enjoy this Marvel's What If and would like to see more, do make sure to subscribe, like, share, and turn your notifications on so you and your friends are all up to date with the latest content. But anyways, as always guys, thanks for tuning in and have a fantastic day.